Hi, friends. I'm going to read for you today the story Chester's Way by Kevin Henkes. It's a story about making friends. Chester's Way. This book was written in 1988 for Ginny. Chester had his own way of doing things. Hello, my name is Chester. I like croquet and peanut butter and making my bed. He always cut his sandwiches diagonally. He always got out of bed on the same side, and he never left the house without double knotting his shoes. Chester always had the same thing for breakfast, toast with jam and peanut butter. He always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket, just in case. You definitely have a mind of your own, said Chester's mother. That's one way to put it, said Chester's father. There, that's a little better. Here he's eating his breakfast. Here's his first aid kit. And here's his parents marveling at what a unique child I have. Chester's best friend, Wilson, was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never, ever swung at the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to, and they always used hand signals. If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too, but they rarely ate between meals. Some days I can't tell those two apart, said Wilson's mother. Me either, said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. I don't know if it's here they are playing croquet and baseball and riding their bikes, using the safety signals. They loved to go on picnics. Once, when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid that a watermelon plant would grow inside him, Chester swallowed one too. Don't worry, said Chester. Now, if you grow a watermelon plant, I'll grow one too. Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson because they both always wanted the same things anyway. For Halloween, they always dressed like things that went together. Salt and pepper shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. They really are 2 peas in a pod, said Chester's mother. Looks like it, said Chester's father. They were best friends, weren't they? In spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. And in summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. Then Lily moved into the neighborhood. Lily had her own way of doing things. I'm Lily. I am the queen. I like everything. Uh-oh. This should be interesting. She wore Band-Aids all over her arms and legs to look brave. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she was saying. I'm a yellow. That's backwards. I am Lily. And she never left the house without one of her nifty disguises. She really likes to play dress up. Lily waved at all the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who was in them. She always carried a loaded squirt gun in her back pocket, just in case. She definitely has a mind of her own, said Chester. That's one way to put it, said Wilson. Those boys don't quite know what to do with her, do they? When Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said they were busy. Look at her very fancy dress-up hat. When she called them up on the phone, they disguised their voices and said they weren't home. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a phone like that. But that's a good old-fashioned landline, even with its curly wire and everything. If Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson crossed to the other side and hid. Look at the scary mask she has on. You see them hiding behind the tree? She's something else, said Chester. Looks like it, said Wilson. One day, while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rode by popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. They looked like they were kind of bullying them or teasing them. Chester and Wilson didn't know what to do. Just when they were about to give up hope, a fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened the older boys away. I wonder who that fierce cat is with the squirt gun. Are you who we think you are? Chester asked the cat. Of course, the cat replied. Thank you, Lily, said Chester. You're welcome, Chester, said Lily. Thank you, Lily, said Wilson. You're welcome, Wilson, said Lily. I'm glad you are wearing a disguise, said Chester. And I'm glad you had your squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. Afterward, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a muscle mouse cup? Said Lily. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she had cookie cutters, and she made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson to sleep over. You have a nightlight? Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson wanted toast with jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. Boring, said Lily. Try this instead. This is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. Look at their breakfast. It's toast made into a little face with the fruits. But there's the nightlight. They thought maybe Lily was too brave for a nightlight. Well, sometimes you might find that someone that's a little different than you may have some things in common with you. After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, They said yes. When she called them on the telephone, they had pleasant conversations. If Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. Look at that costume. She made a little robot with a box. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them how to pop wheelies. So those boys are safe and cautious, and she's a little bit rowdy, but you can learn from your friends that are a little different than you. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. I'm a Naslu. Olhe. This says, I am Wilson backwards. And Owen saying, hello. Some days I can't tell those three apart, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester and Wilson and Lily and Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed as the three blind mice. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces, extra long for double knotting. They loved to go on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily about how they each swallowed a watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us. So here's them being the 3 blind mice. Look at those fun Christmas gifts. And here they are on a picnic. In spring, Chester and Wilson and Lily shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. And in summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson and Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved into the neighborhood. What do you think will happen? Do you think they'll become friends with Victor? Look, he's acting scary in this picture. How did you meet your best friend? Are you like your friend or are you different from your friend?